Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Good. Welcome. My name is Greg Nosen. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a worship associate here at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Cleveland. Welcome. I'm delighted to be with you this morning. We come from different places, religions, beliefs, and backgrounds, and each of us comes for multiple reasons: to find community, to explore and grow both spiritually and personally, to love and be loved, and to transform the world. We hope you'll find connection, inspiration, comfort, and courage here. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we welcome you. We also especially welcome any guests who are joining us for the first time today, either in person or online. If you're interested in learning more about who we are, we invite you to fill out one of our guest cards, which you can usually find in the pew racks. But since we don't have any pews, I direct you to my partner Brandon Rood in the blue hat and the checked shirt. He's the greeter and he has a stack of cards. So find him, fill one out, and you can put it in the offering plate later in the service as it comes by, and we'll be sure to reach out to you. If you're watching remotely, we invite you to visit our website at uucleveland.org or send us an email. We're now about to enter into sacred time and space, so I'd ask you to please take a moment to set any of your electronic devices to worship mode. Please join me in reciting the words of our chalice lighting, found on the yellow card in the pew rack in front of you. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. The wind may be a little bit tricky with our chalice light, but I hope that we do not take this flame for granted. Originally, the flaming chalice was an image stamped on documents created by the Unitarian Service Committee to help Jewish refugees escape Nazi persecution on the eve of World War II. The design was created by artist Hans Deutsch, himself a refugee. And for his drawing, Deutsch borrowed from an old symbol of strength and freedom from Czechoslovakia, a chalice with a flame, a cup used for giving healing drink to others, and a flame to represent hospitality and sacrifice. The flaming chalice became the official symbol of the Unitarian Service Committee and eventually a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. When we light this chalice, we say something about who we are, who we hope to be, at least. A community that offers refuge, healing, and radical hospitality. A community that knows offering refuge and healing and hospitality sometimes requires sacrifice, or at least inconvenience. May we not take this flame for granted. Our call to worship today comes from Kimberly Ann Thomasak Carlson. It is not by chance that we have arrived here today. We have been looking for something larger than ourselves. Inside of us, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through our struggles, someone nurtured us into instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And also we began seeking a beloved community. Fences around love,
a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish our souls and share our gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing together Color and Fragrance. The words are on the pink insert.
Color and fragrance, magical river, sweet life within to be, God's vision growing, and full of pebbles, by mountain passes, depths of the ocean, dew on the grasses, vision growing. Delicate bees, lacewing and sparrow, in field and forest, clover and yarrow, life bringing life with the light brightly glowing, none are too small to be God's vision growing. In human eyes burns the soul of living, illumines altars of loving giving, greeting meets, brightly glowing, sharing the greater light, God's vision growing. Shaper of all things, to us you've given a chance to keep here on earth of heaven, moving in harmony, heart gently growing. May we gratefully God's vision growing.
A song by Norbert Chopek, the creator of this ceremony that we're participating in today, the flower communion, flower ceremony, flower celebration, with us to this community. And so there are several things in the book that I want to share with you. If you're joining us online today, I invite you to share any joys or concerns you'd like us to know about in the comments below the video. We celebrate today with Pete Clapham and Anita Stoll. Congratulations, Pete and Anita. They send their wishes for a successful annual meeting and their hopes that the weather will cooperate. So far, so good. Special thanks also to the many hands that helped put up our tent for the summer that many of you are enjoying. Ken and Ray, Debbie, Bob. We'll place a stone of celebration and determination for Pride Month. We had over 30 participants from UUCC in yesterday's Pride March, and it was a really glorious day. So a celebration and determination. David Cantor will be having surgery on Tuesday, so we'll place a stone of healing thoughts and hopes for successful surgery and smooth recovery. David wants you to know he welcomes texts or emails that you'd like to send in support, but please no phone calls. Y'all have been calling David a lot, and he appreciates it. Grateful for a happy and safe Pride. After I place these stones in the water, I'll invite you to come forward to place stones to represent any joys or concerns that you carry with you today. I will just let you know we've eliminated as many trip hazards as possible, but please watch your step as you move forward if you're placing. We have a couple of unavoidable. We place a final stone to acknowledge those joys or concerns shared with us online today.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good
Morning.
I have to say, seeing all of you here on this beautiful day feels pretty swell. Do you think flowers have grandparents? So often we think about our families as trees. We have family trees, big branches that all come from a root and a trunk that branch off into bigger and bigger groups. Of course, flowers already grow on trees, right? Sometimes they also grow other places, but I wonder what flower families are like. What are the flower generations like? One thing I have to assume is if you're a flower, like your generation is 1 year, right? Because we get new flowers every year. So that's fast generations. Flowers are here with us this year, and then next year we have new flowers, of course. And that's interesting to me because this year is the 100th anniversary of flower ceremony. So 100 years ago today, Norbert Čapek brought this ceremony, this celebration, this ritual to us to celebrate our being together in all of our beautiful diversity. And that would be 100 flower generations ago. So I was thinking about this. If 100 flower generations are 100 years, what is 100 human generations. Where does that get us? And it's kind of crazy. I want to have a guess. It's 2,500 years ago. I'm sorry, 2,500 BCE is 100. So like we are to them what the flowers are to Chapeks today. Can you imagine such a thing? Those would be like a flower communion celebrated like in the Persian Empire, basically, for our purposes. 100 flower grandparents ago, this ceremony became something that we are still celebrating today, at a time when Norbert Čapek and his wife Maya had returned from their time. They had spent time in America and had returned to the city of Prague. And he was looking for this way to unite people from disparate backgrounds, but who had gathered together to be one liberal religious tradition. And he turned to flowers. Flowers was the symbol he drew on, because in the mountainsides, in the rural areas, you could see these, just an explosion of different colors and different places, all these different flowers. So he invited the people to come and bring them from wherever they could find them and share them with one another. And that was even the case in 1942, when Norbert Čapek was in Dachau, waiting to be executed. And he still had the fellow prisoners collect flowers from the weeds, from wherever they could find them, whatever little blossoms were around, and they still celebrated it. Just a few years before that, in 1940, his wife Maya had brought the ceremony to UU congregations in Boston. And that's how we now are in a place to inherit this heritage that today goes back now 100 years. We get to share with one another these blooms that represent, of course, our diverse gifts and the experiences that make up this beautiful garden that I'm looking at right now. But these flowers, of course, also represent a sense of hope and a trust in beautiful things, that we can bring the world something beautiful, even when that world feels sometimes hopeless or grim or just vacant of vibrant color. This year especially is a time to realize that our participation in this ceremony is part of how we become a community, not only a community of the present people who are here now, but also a community with this past that Norbert Čapek represents for us. Ceremonies and rituals are amazing this way. When they are fostered and cultivated and they get to retain their meaning, they become like little time machines. They allow us to be linked to the past in this meaningful way. And so we bring that past into our celebration today, even as we have to imagine that Čapek was thinking about us when he was celebrating the first flower ceremony. So on this 100th anniversary, let's not miss the chance to be good, thoughtful flowers who are thinking of our flower grandparents, not by thinking only about the past that Čapek had created, but to take Čapek's role and be thinking about what 100 flower communions from now will look like. Let's envision what we share today with an eye on the futures that we hope to build together.
This recipient is the Sierra Club Foundation, which is the independent fiscal sponsor of Sierra Club's charitable environmental programs. Two of its main goals are to solve the climate crisis and help shift investment from fossil fuels to a renewable energy economy. In Ohio, the main way they're working toward this is through the Beyond Coal campaign. For years, Ohio's heavy reliance on coal has led our state to have some of the dirtiest air in the country, significant amounts of coal ash waste around the areas of plants, and an immense amount of land impacted or destroyed by coal mining. The Beyond Coal campaign aims to move Ohio forward by first shutting down dirty coal plants and seeking justice for the affected people and environmental resources that surround them. And second, by investing in renewable energy and energy efficiency and supporting the communities on the front lines of this transition. You have the chance to support this important work right now by giving as you're able, either by placing your offering in a plate or by using Cash App. Our handle is $ all caps UUCC 44122. Be sure to include the words, or the numbers really, 6/04 plate in the for line of the app.
Somos amados, somos amados, no navegas aquí, no navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you. You sail in me. The stream sings into the river sings into the sea sings into the boat that will carry you and me. We are sailing on. We are sailing. Somos yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. The voyage is long and hard, and yet we're sailing still, with a song to help us pull together, if we only will. So with our boats we raise the sails to freeze the wind once more. And with our hearts we chart the waters, never say we more. Somos el mar, somos el mar. Yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me. We are the boat, we are the sea. I sail in you, you sail in me.
Thank you, Women's Ensemble. I just want to mention that the work that we do in the community is just did it. Sometimes we don't see all of the results of the money that we give on Sunday mornings, but we do receive letters. And I wanted to share with you the gratitude from my recovery day, which was very grateful for our gift of almost $1,000 that helped them continue their ministry. And so every week we do this work, reaching out into the community and sharing of what we have to help create a better world. And we don't always see it, but it's happening by what we do here together. And as we accept our gifts for the months, we're going to be trying some different musical responses. And so for today, we have From You I Receive. The words are in your order of service. I invite you to sing along. We're going to sing it 3 times.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share and promise we live. From you I receive, to you I give, Together we share, and from this we live.
Each of us is a flower with a delicate beauty uniquely our own. We may be like sunflowers, turning always toward the light. May our lives bloom like the flowers. We may be like night blooming cereus, only displaying our fragrant petals when it is dark and we think no one can see. May our lives bloom like the flowers. This is a responsive reading, so you can add in when I do the may our lives bloom like the flowers bit. I should have explained that before we started. Number 3, we may be hothouse flowers, far from our native lands, cautiously tended within a harsh and unfamiliar climate. May our lives bloom like the flowers. We may be gray-headed like dandelions, eager to launch the new nation with the first strong gust of wind, past our own bright youth, but ready to pass our wisdom on in precious gossamer carried seeds. May our lives bloom like the flowers. Some of us sometimes spring up overnight and fade in the hot glare. May our lives bloom like the flowers. Some of us sometimes are roses, slowly assembling petal after tightly wrapped petal and revealing our full glory only when everything is in place. May our lives bloom like the flowers. Sometimes we are roadside weeds, loveliness bursting improbably from the dust and debris. May our lives bloom like the flowers. May we offer our beauty with the simplicity of flowers, expecting no recognition, hoping for nothing, giving out of what we are, and knowing it is enough. May our lives bloom like the flowers. Amen.
When you said I could do this, we didn't have it wrapped around the pole quite so many times. It can't be too easy. Don't want to take that for granted. Most of you have a flower with you at this point, but if you don't, we do still have some in the basket. And if you will put your hand up, I bet either a worship associate or an usher or some other really kind person will get a flower for you if you don't have a flower with you. Or maybe there's someone around you that already has an abundance and brought some to share anyway. And so you might get a flower early that you'll be able to share with others. We're going to consecrate these flowers in just a moment. And when Alan was talking about this ceremony, it just reminded me of how much we take for granted that we have this beauty around us that we may or may not notice. I will say that for those of you that went to Pride with us yesterday, you got to see my toenails. I'm wearing closed-toed shoes because we're out in the meadow today. My toenails are Pride colors, and my fingers are in support of trans pride. And my pedicurist was absolutely giddy that she got to paint my toes a variety of colors. And as a minister, it's easy to take for granted that I can do that There are a lot of places, even in our state, very close by, where this would be a scandal. But I'm in a community that supports that sense of welcome and that sense of radicality and that sense of being able to be authentic with our identities. That's something I don't want to take for granted. I didn't even think twice about having that done. And yet, maybe I should have, and thought how grateful I am that it's possible. I said that we shouldn't take our flame for granted, and you might have noticed I keep checking on it, because as lovely as the breeze is, our flame keeps going out. The wind keeps grabbing it and carrying it somewhere, right? Like that. And some of you say, Randy, don't bother, just give up. It's not going to stay lit. And that's what we do with our faith sometimes, and the things that we care about in the world. We say, I have tried this a few times now, and it didn't work, and it didn't catch, and the flame went out, so I'm just not going to bother anymore. And maybe we take for granted that it's not going to work, or maybe we take for granted that somebody else will step up and light it if it goes out. I don't know. Maybe sometimes we just get tired of lighting the flame over and over and over again. But this flower ceremony is an opportunity for us to consider not just the beauty around us, the things that we might not notice. I mean, take a look at the flower that you've got. This rose that I have, I mean, it has more petals folded in on itself than I can imagine. It's almost like a spiral. Reminds me of just a slightly off-kilter spiral path that we might walk in a pagan ceremony. And maybe our spiral should be a little more off-kilter. Maybe life is a little more off-kilter than our perfect circles that we try to draw. And the petals go so deep. There are so many different layers of this thing. I might not notice that if I didn't take time to look at it. What do you notice? I notice little veins and wrinkles in these petals, reaching out like tributaries. I notice the way the petals are connected to the stem. Really brilliant how this flower figured this out. Your flower figured something out too, and it's there to share it with you if you were willing to notice. But when Norbert Čapek started this ceremony, it wasn't just about the flowers. The flowers were a symbol of the different things that we bring into community with one another. And so when I look at you, maybe I am willing to see how deep you go and how very much like a spiral you are and how many layers you have to you, even if they are a little bit off kilter and not perfect in their spirals. Maybe the flower that you bring today invites you to notice something about the people around you. Maybe the flower that you receive from someone today will invite you to notice something that you don't expect, something that you can't anticipate. In the giving and receiving of flowers, Norbert Čapek hoped that the people in his community would be aware of their need to give and receive from one another. It's something that we could easily take for granted, this community. We do so much, and we breeze in here on a Sunday sometimes, and we breeze back out into our lives, and we stay busy doing lots of really good, amazing things, but we might take it for granted that this community of people is here, connected to us. Each of us likes some unique breed of flower that we will never find in any other garden. So may we not take our faith for granted, but most importantly, may we not take one another for granted. I'm going to light our flame again because we have to keep relighting our flame. We don't have to. If we care about this faith tradition, we have to keep relighting our flame. But I invite you now to consecrate with me the flowers that you have brought with you. You're going to bless them so that when you share them, they've already received the blessing that they need. This is adapted from Norbert Čapek's original words, and it's in your order of service. The consecration of flowers. With the infinite spirit of life, we bless these flowers, these messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion. May they also recognize the value of companionship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of life's most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship. And may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do our work in this world. Let our flowers be consecrated by our intention. Amen. I invite you now to mindfully select someone nearby or someone across the meadow or somebody somewhere in our midst and take a moment to exchange your flowers, but also take a moment to exchange what you appreciate about one another. And no, you're not going to be able to do this with everybody that you appreciate in this particular moment. This is just practice, but pick someone, and then after a few moments of sharing, you're going to do it again and share the flower that you've received with another person and some appreciation for them. So I invite you to share your flowers and appreciation now.
I appreciate the youthful energy you bring and being present when a lot of people choose to be elsewhere and choose to be here. So I appreciate your sense of humor and your easy way of your smile. It brightens my day when I get to see you.
Sure. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody. You're one of my favorites. No, you're one of the people who really help me sacrifice. I don't mean to steal your roses. I know. I just. Oh. This place is scary. What was it like?
Right? I tried to lunch last time.
Sorry, I'm not helping.
No, you're good.
Where'd she go?
I hate to give this up because it's so spectacular.
Hello, Tim. Good morning. Good to see you. You have sent several emails about being in touch with a group of people, and I have been very careless because I don't. It's a strange thing. COVID was it seemed to be like a dimmer switch or something, and then it all turned off, and then everything got really busy again. And I just got away from it.
I'm running up against another thing. I'm running out of
As expected, you all have clustered up into beautiful little groups who are sharing with one another and appreciating one another. I'll invite you to draw that to a close just for the moment, not for all time, but just for now. We're going to have time later on after the annual meeting to share some pizza and ice cream and lemonade, and we've got tables for folks to sit and visit some more. And hopefully over the weeks ahead, we can continue to share what we appreciate about other people and maybe notice the beauty around us without taking it for granted. This is the part where I just say nothing for a few moments while you all continue to find your way to your seats or close by, because we're going to sing a song together. And this is what we learn in seminary, is how to say nothing for long stretches of time. The words are in your insert in your order of service, De Colores. If you'd like to rise in body or spirit, I invite you to do so as we sing together.
De colores se visten los campos en la primavera. De colores son los pajaritos que vienen de fuera. De colores es el arco iris que vemos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores me gustan a mí. All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors, as the sunlight shines out through a rift in the cloud and it showers. All the colors, as the rainbow appears when a storm cloud is touched by the sun. All the colors about for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. streamers and blues and bandanas. All the colors, yes, the colors of people now taking their place in the sun. All the colors about for the whole world, everyone under the sun.
All right. I invite you to a seat because we do have a few announcements of things coming up. June is not the time when we slow down. June is the time where we do all of the things that are possible, except we are not going to do the UU taboos adult religious education conversation tonight, but we will continue next Sunday and through the rest of June with the UU taboos. Thank you, Alan, for putting that together. Last week they talked about sin, so you missed the really good one, but there's still going to be some good ones. If you have not yet signed up for the bus and lunch for June 25th, we are not going to be here. We're going to be in Pittsburgh celebrating with thousands of other Unitarian Universalists on June 25th on that Sunday for worship. So you can get there on your own, but we have a charter bus, and if you would like to be a part of it, you can sign up online. We've got that on our website, and hopefully it'll be in the newsletter on Thursday. I know it wasn't in this past one, but it's still live, so you can still register for that. And if you're going to be there and you want to have lunch with us, use the same form, because there's a place there for you to say, we want to all have lunch together. And Sharon Edmond is setting that up for us. Thank you, Sharon, for setting up a place for us to have lunch together. If you have signed up but have not paid for it yet, you can pay by check and just say GA Bus in the 4 line, or you can use Cash App and also say GA Bus in the 4 line. And that way we'll get that settled. We will have orchard perennial planting and a pizza party on Saturday, June 10th, this coming Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We've got 500 plants to put in the ground. And so bring your personal hand trowel, your personal favorite hand trowel out of all of your hand trowels, marked with your name so that you'll get your favorite hand trowel back at the end of the day. And we are inviting our UUCC neighbors and members to take part in this planting. 10 a.m. on Saturday. Will be provided. Kid-friendly and veggie pizzas, if that matters, if that will get you here to plant things in the ground. Also next Saturday, we have a new member dinner at 6 p.m. If you are new with us over the last year or so, then I think you've been invited, and we're going to have a wonderful time of visiting with one another Saturday evening. Here's some important news also. We are cleaning out the stage area. If there is anything there that is precious to you, please collect it. It's been there for a while. We've got a dumpster coming on the 19th, I think, and it's gonna all go in the dumpster if you haven't claimed it. So if there is something on stage that is precious to you, or a community or a group that you're a part of, lay claim to it and put it in a place where it can be better used, because it's not being used on the backstage area right now. We'll have a dumpster to do a big spring clean later in the month. And so there might be some closets that get cleaned out as well, but the stage area is our big focus there so that we can make better use of that space. And of course, after the service today, we have our annual meeting. It's going to be right here. You don't have to transition into any other space, but we will allow a little bit of time for a personal break for you to take care of stretching and bio break and all of that stuff before the annual meeting gets kicked off. And then we'll have pizza out on these tables afterward. We close our service today with the words of Lynn Unger. What a gathering, the purple tongues of iris licking out at spikes of lupin, the orange crepe skirts of poppies lifting over buttercup and daisy. Who can be grim in the face of such abundance? There is nothing to compare, no need for beauty to compete. The voluptuous rhododendron and the plain grass are equally filled with themselves, equally declare the miracles of color and form. This is what community looks like. This vibrant jostle, stem by stem, declaring the marvelous joining. This is the face of communion, the incarnation once more gracefully resurrected from winter. Hold these things together in your sight. Purple, crimson, magenta, blue. You will be feasting on this long after the flowers are gone. Amen, and blessed be.
Please join me as we recite the words for the extinguishing of the chalice, which Randy has just relit for this very purpose. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I give babies joy. I watch them grow. They're much more than I ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful
We'll take just a few moments for people to have a comfort break, and then we will begin with our annual meeting. If you are a member of the congregation, please don't go far. We'll get started very shortly.
Remind me what? I know it's coming up. What was the next date? Was it 11? Wait,
Next Sunday.
Next Sunday. That's the 11th.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure so like I don't forget about it.
No,
ADHD shit's been really bad lately.
I appreciate it because
My ADHD is really severe. It's not diagnosed yet.